All right, what's up, guys and gals, and welcome to VEVE Vibes, where I love talking all things VEVE NFTs, speculation, and of course the market. So I wanted to cover a topic today that literally affects everyone on the VEVE app. I don't care if you have a vault full of grails or if all you have is a single 10-gem comic at the end of the day. Dips affect everyone. I really want to tackle this topic because I do feel like certain NFTs are hit harder by dips than other NFTs. So I wanted to cover some of that today. I will tell you, like, right now, this video isn't about what causes dips. This is assuming that like a dip is gonna already happen, whether it's going to happen or it's already happening currently because of some sort of catalyst. I will say, again, like there's 101 reasons why a dip could happen, whether VEVE announces a new big IP, whether a Medium article comes out and like that box drop that we thought was going to be 80 gems, now it's 120, kind of like the battle statue, or it could be external factors like the crypto markets crashing, things like that. So there's 101 reasons why the VEVE market could be dipping for a bunch of reasons. So this video is not covering that. This is assuming like, hey, a dip is going to happen or it's already in the process of dipping, which NFTs are hit harder during dips when these things happen. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into it. And again, none of this is financial advice. This is strictly just for educational and entertainment purposes only. And I actually came up with 3 reasons why I think certain NFTs are just hit harder than others. First one, in my opinion, is that your NFT just recently pumped. Now, no NFT is safe from this. I don't care if you own a grail like Walt or Todd. If your thing recently pumped and then there's an IP announcement or whatever happened, like you will have the floor be dropping. People are going to be undercutting. People are going to try and take profits while they can, or at least try to invest in before the new drop happens. And I actually wanted to show an example of this is because like even a relatively strong IP like Coca-Cola, you can see here, I'm pretty bullish on the uncommon snow globes. So as we can see here, back in January 18th, the snow globes actually pumped all the way up to 163 gems, which is great. Saw some natural retracement just because of the pump. People are trying to take profits while it's all the way up here. So it went down to 132. And then again, it pumped up to 144, which is pretty nice. But then right around this time, January 20th, 21st, we actually had the battle statue announcement for Batman and Killer Croc, which is why we just see a pretty hefty dip. So there's a lot, and the reason why this happened is because we have a lot of people that have bought around or below 110 gems all the way back here for the last month and a half or so, or last month. People bought below 110 gems, and like whether they weren't able to sell it during this sell-off, people are definitely being pretty aggressive with trying to sell it off and have enough gems for the drop. So even an IP like Coca-Cola, because there was a pump that happened relatively recently, maybe if this pump happened like a month ago and it started plateauing, we would still see a dip, but maybe not as an aggressive dip potentially. All right, and reason number 2 is that I found that NFTs that fall below 200 gems, maybe even pushing 300 gems, just depending on like the drop info and like the IP announcement and all that stuff that happens with like the next drop, tend to get very hard. So those NFTs that fall in that lower end scale of like gems tend to get hit very, very hard because, again, people are typically just trying to have enough gems to play the next drop. Based on historical data that I've kind of seen, like typically the Marvel drops are 50 gems, typically the Disney drops are 60 gems, so people can kind of foretell how much a drop is usually going to be before the Medium article even comes out. But with something like the Batman battle statue with him and Killer Croc, that was 120 gems. And so I think there was a lot of people that didn't even have enough gems in their wallet to even make it. So a lot of them had to sell off some of their lower end NFTs to even have enough in their wallet to make it. So, and again, if you only have 20 gems in your account, maybe you don't have any NFTs that are below 100 or 200. Maybe you're forced to sell off that 300 gem NFT just to have enough to play the next drop. So I've actually found NFTs that fit on that lower end tend to get hit really, really hard. And especially if it's like a big IP like Batman with the battle statue with Killer Croc, some people might even push it up to like 1,000 gems, because I think a lot of people are speculating that this could hit anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 gems like on the secondary market for Killer Croc. So I realize that number can go up a bit higher, but like I do think 200 to 300 gems and below, those get hit very hard because a lot of people are just trying to get enough gems to play the drop. And I found this is extremely prevalent with something like comics. I actually found myself trying to collect a common of every comic. I just couldn't keep up with it. So eventually when new drops started coming out, I just started selling some of the comics I just didn't really care about. So especially since some people have been stacking comics for months. Some people have double digit or even low triple digit numbers of comics that they tend to just sell 2, 3, 4 of, just enough to play the next drop. So that's another thing. I've noticed that comics tend to get hit very, very hard, but it's an excellent buying opportunity for you guys that do like comics. All right, last and certainly not least, we have the number 3 reason why certain NFTs are just hit harder than others. during the dip, which is basically NFTs that aren't Disney, Marvel, or DC. And this is something I've seen time and time again. Now, these will get hit with a dip, but just not nearly as hard as for some examples like Decon, Adventure Time, Cryptkins, Murmurcornos, Unicornos, all the independent artist stuff. Like those just seem to get hit very, very hard. And I actually want to show you guys an example as to why, just kind of a quick scenario. So let's just imagine it's a few days ago or a week ago and we get the Batman announcement for Killer Croc and Batman, 120 gems. Let's pretend we have 0 gems in our wallet, but we do have a bit of a vault. So this is what we have lined up right here. And this vault overall is only like 850 gems. It's nothing crazy for the most part. And we can actually see the prices here on the screen. The back row is about 235, Coke is 140, Captain America is 190, Deadpool's 147, and we have 2 Mothmans that equal to about 140 as well. But we need 120 gems to play the drop. In your opinion, which ones would you sell off first? Now, initially when I look, my eyes immediately go to either the Snow Globe or the Mothman, because one thing that does go for it is that there's only a 2.5% fee, so you're actually getting more gems out of it than you would by selling the DC, or as much as you would by selling the Marvel stuff, which I think kind of goes in Marvel's favor, because every time you sell it, like, gosh, there's an 8.5% fee. I could sell something that's equivalent value, like the Coke and the Deadpool. They're only 7 gems apart, but you're going to get more gems out of the Coke. And I think some people in general are just a little bit more bullish on Deadpool over like the Coke bottle. And on top of that, like you could sell the DC, but again, it's Batgirl. You don't need that many gems for the drop, so people kind of hold off on that. So that's the thing I kind of wanted to show you. So like even as strong as an IP as Coke, people tend to just look at things that aren't Marvel, Disney, DC. They tend to sell those off first. So just because, especially since those things just have more room to grow, there's a bigger following. Just the VV community in general is very bullish on those 3 big IPs, which could be a topic for another video. Is VV, or just the community in general, a little bit too bullish on Disney, Marvel, and DC? And like, could we be having some diamonds in the rough that are some like good NFTs that are just being overlooked? Potentially, but in my opinion, I do think like in this scenario, most people would sell their Mothman. All right, and that's pretty much it, guys. I would love to hear what you guys think about my list. Is there anything that I missed? Is there anything that you guys already knew about? I would love to hear it down in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. That's in the description, as well as the website that I typically use for all of my graphs, which is ecomi.wiki. All the links are down in the description below as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys take care, and I'll catch you on the flip side.